Alright guys, welcome to week 11 of the NGDL, and this is a matchup against ScepGandy and his Tampa Bay Thunderbolts, originally coached by Toronto Pure, but he had to step out. And this is actually a huge matchup, at least for me, well, definitely for me, and for him as well. And you just had to look at the standings just for 1 minute to ascertain as to why. So there's the standings. Sorry if it's a little too small. But as you can see, I am sitting at 6-4, and these are updated standings, so some people have played this week, some people haven't, as of the time I'm doing this. And those are the up-to-date standings. Now, if I win and go 7-4, I will actually be clinching a playoff berth and keeping my chances of winning the division alive. If I lose, however, I will be put in a bad situation, being bumped down to 6-5, while ScepGandy will also be 6-5, so that would be one more player that has a tiebreaker over me that's in contention, because keep in mind, Kentucky hasn't played this week, and he is at he has played this week, and he's at 6-5. But I'd be bounced down there, so I'd be third in my division, and then ScepGandy would also have the tiebreaker over me. So I need a lot of help to make the playoffs if I lose here. I would need ScepGandy to lose. I would need Mr. Chabry to lose. Not to mention I'd be eliminated from division contention. So as for ScepGandy, he really does need this match as well, because if he loses here, he is eliminated from the postseason, making this a really, really crucial matchup for both teams. With a win here, I can eliminate ScepGandy and clinch the playoffs myself, because if I go 7-4, no one will be able to catch me, thanks to Fat Jesus, as usual, screwing up. Losing 3 straight after beating me, so that was really fortunate for me that he was unable to capitalize on that win against me a couple weeks ago. So I'm in a pretty good position, but I have to beat ScepGandy here. If I do not, then I will need a lot of help, not to mention I will have to win next week against Zack Attack in order to have even a chance of the playoffs. And this is actually a somewhat rough matchup. This is one of the most retooled teams in the... I mean, obviously, when you go through an order change, it's going to be completely retooled. But yeah, just first off, I didn't make any changes this week. This time, I did not forget to transform the Mega Charizard. I actually decided to keep it Y. And I did that for a few reasons that I will probably explain after we take a look here at ScepGandy's team. So as I said, this is a team that got completely retooled from the original team that Toronto Pure drafted that featured a Zeraora, rather. But this team, instead of featuring Zeraora, is going to go ahead and feature his signature Pokemon, Mega Scep. But it's still highlighted, however, by that $41 Magearna that Toronto Pure took in the betting round. So that is going to be obviously his signature Pokemon. It's a scary Pokemon because it has such a high special attack stat. It can use Shift Gear to get really fast. It has access to Trick Room as well, so I had to be careful about that. Looking at his team, his actually squad can take advantage of Trick Room pretty well. He has 2 categories of Pokemon. His really fast Pokemon in the Mega Scep, the Terrakion, and the Primeape. But he also has some really slow Pokemon that could get, advantage of that. So looking at his squad, I'm really kind of afraid of 2 Pokemon right off the bat. I'm afraid of not only Magearna, 2 other Pokemon other than Magearna. I'm afraid of the Terrakion and the Salamence. The Terrakion is an absolutely scary Pokemon for my squad. Most of my Pokemon are weak to either rock or fighting, and it is just incredibly powerful. And it is incredibly fast. It's 108 base speed, which is a really terrifying base speed class for me, because that means nothing I have really outspeeds it, aside from Aerodactyl. But if he puts a Scarf on it, well, there you go. And Sticky Webs, if he has a Scarf on that, he can still outspeed most of my Pokemon. So it's a really critical Pokemon that I need to be able to slow down. But not only that, it's scary because, he might not even bring the Scarf. He might actually just decide to go for the Ban for more damage. He might go for a Z-move, and this thing can double dance. It can Agility, and after Agility, there's no way I'm outspeeding it. If he can also Swords Dance. So it's incredibly versatile. In the right conditions, this thing could definitely sweep me. And of course, there's the Ditto. That's the other Pokemon that I need to worry about, because Ditto stops me from setting up if he does bring it. And I do have a few Pokemon I'd like to set up. This week, in fact, I was going to bring another physical Char Y, but I'm like, you know what? The last minute, well, not really last minute, but I was thinking about it earlier today, and I'm like, you know what, I'm going to go for the special one, but I have to make sure that it is not able to be handled by his Ditto, and to that end, I'm actually just bringing Solar Beam and Flamethrower as an attacking move. So I'm not going to go ahead and bring, I guess I could bring Focus Blast too, but I actually decided to opt to bring Tailwind and Roost, which will help me against that Ditto if he does try to transform into my Charizard. Now, the Licky Licky is obviously an incredible bulky threat, and I'm not going to bring Passimian. Looking at his squad, I'm not entirely sure. You might want to bring Mence, because Mence can really do some damage after a Dragon Dance to my squad. And Passimian just seems like an obvious choice here, but I decided to go against that. I want to bring Roserade because Roserade has a really nice matchup against Magearna, who resists. For sure he's going to bring Thunderbolt on that Magearna, as well as a Fairy move. I resist both of them with Roserade. I'm bringing actually the Pozonium Z on it, not because it's super effective or anything, but I need it in order to hit things like that Salamence and that what is that, the blah 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 blah. The Mandibuzz is pretty hard. The Mandibuzz is another Pokemon that if I go too physical, might just completely wall me, because that thing is a terrific physical wall. I'm going to bring a physically bulky Celesteela that is actually special on the special side, with Flash Cannon, Flamethrower, and Hidden Power Ice. As well as Leech Seed. Like I said, it's physically bulky, but I am carrying the Wakan Berry, so just in case he does have like a +1 Magearna, or even Gigavolt Havoc, I should be able to live at least one, and I've EV'd it just enough so I can 2-hit KO that Magearna with Flamethrower if need be. The other thing of note, and this is probably the most interesting thing I'm bringing, and this is where I'll end it, I am bringing a Scarf Aerodactyl, and the reason I'm doing that is because Scarf Aerodactyl solves a lot of problems for me. Now, it was some kind of idea I came up with when talking to my AC, and I'm like, I don't know. I mean, I'm really scared of, Scarf Primeape, which he did Transact for this week, so he probably will bring it. I do have quite a bit of weaknesses to, all the coverage that his fighting types can bring. So I'm like, wait, why not Scarf Aerodactyl? Scarf Aerodactyl can outspeed Mega Scep, which it can't normally. Mega Sceptile is incredibly fast, and obviously hit it really hard with, I actually bring Ice Fang, although I could, hit it hard with Aerial Ace as well. Aerial Ace OA-KOs the Primeape, and, worst case scenario, with the Scarf Terrakion, I can outspeed that with a Scarf Aerodactyl and be adamant to boot. That's how fast Aerodactyl is, although not quite as fast as Mega Sceptile. So, and I can obviously Earthquake that Terrakion. Hopefully I'll have some chip damage on that and be able to KO. It's not going to be enough to 1-hit KO right off the bat, but it should be enough to do it from there. So I'm going to be trying this Scarf Aerodactyl, which I've been kind of resisting because Aerodactyl doesn't have access to U-turn. But it can be really good. Now, I think if there's one problem for the team I'm bringing, it's going to be that Licky Licky. If he brings Licky Licky, I could have some problems because I don't have any stab fighting moves this week. I'd have to try to wither it down either by trying to put it to sleep or trying to get some Toxic on it, maybe some Leech Seed with Celesteela. I'm really hoping he doesn't bring that, but looking at his squad, I'm kind of expecting 6 of Scep, Mega Scep, Magearna, Ditto, why can I never remember this Pokemon's name? Mandibuzz, Terrakion, Primeape, and or Salamence. That's what I'm kind of expecting for him to bring. There's like an off chance he might want to bring Smeargle or Meowstic to set up rocks against me. I mean, he could have it on Terrakion as well, but I don't think he will. If he does bring one of those, it could actually be a problem for me because I don't have a Defogger this week. I'm bringing Aerodactyl and Charizard, but no Defogger. But my Charizard does have Tailwind in order to set it up against Ditto and then outspeed Ditto, potentially. So that's pretty interesting. Anyway, so that's all I'm going to say. Here comes the match. Hopefully I can win and clinch a playoff berth. Alright, well, here's the match. So there is ScepGandy doing his best little doppelganger act, trying to cool like me. And as you can see, thank God, no Salamence, and yeah, he also didn't bring the Licky, which is good, because that justifies me dropping Passimian this morning from the team. So there we go. I'm going to go ahead and lead with my Scarf Dactyl. He's going to go ahead and lead with his Ape, Primeape that is. And I'm like, you know what? This is a perfect situation. Let's go for the Aerial Ace. If he switches out, predicting this would suck. But I'm just going to go for it. I'm adamant I should kill with the Aerial Ace. And I end up not. Which, it was a solid KO according to my calc, so he must have a lot of HP investment or something. But then he just goes for the final Gambit. I was actually really worried he would go Stone Edge or something and screw me up. But no, he just goes for the final Gambit, which is a move that knocks you out and then does damage equal to the amount of HP you had. So he was not expecting the Scar from my Aerodactyl. And, yeah, it does laughable damage to me, so that's pretty good. So in comes Magearna. I decided to switch on my Roserade because I know I can take at least one hit. And he actually surprised me with the Trick Room. I was kind of expecting, like, the gear shift here, the shift gear. And he has the Ice Beam, which I kind of thought he would. But I actually changed this to a Specs Roserade. I know I said in pregame it was Poisonium Z, but I actually, right before the battle, switched it to Specs. Because it has a chance to OA-KO Magearna. Unfortunately, I don't. So he might just have some bulk on that Magearna as well. Or I just didn't get lucky. But, yeah, he's going to be able to finish me off with a Thunderbolt. But, he set up the Trick Room for me. This is why I was a little confused that he decided to go for the Trick Room, is I have 2 Pokemon that are at min speed, and I know Magearna can't get slower than either my Celesteela, who is relaxed-natured, and, yeah, this, Araquanid, which is relaxed-natured, or, something like that. It's my speed nature, I know that. But Araquanid, I don't think even if I had a neutral nature, he wouldn't be able to outspeed me. So he's going to go into his Ditto, which is fine. I prepped pretty much all my Pokemon, so he can't really abuse Ditto against me. He's going to go for the Toxic there. That's fine. He's going to Toxic Poison me. I was actually kind of more afraid that he would actually just try to set up webs, so we'd both have webs on the field. And now that I set up webs, it should be an exclusively me privilege. Now, he does have Mandibuzz, which can defog them away. But in comes the Pokemon that I'm most fearing here, Terrakion. This thing is a beast. I do have the Charchi Berry, so I know that I can live even a Banded Stone Edge with my Araquanid, but this was a double switch situation, so I go to my Celesteela, which is even better, because Flash Cannon is going to do a ton of this thing, and I EV'd my Celesteela to be physically bulky. It ends up doing more than half to me, so that was actually a high roll if my calculation was correct. Which kind of sucks, but what are you going to do? He is going to live my Flash Cannon, which isn't a roll. I just knew he'd live. But now that I know he locked himself into Stone Edge, I can go into my Crocodile, get off the Intimidate, and that Stone Edge is resisted, so I should take that pretty nicely, and I do. And yeah, I'm just going to go ahead and set up Stealth Rocks. More hazards always the better, plus it'll do 25% if he ever wants to come in with this thing, the Mandibuzz, to try to defog, so I'm just going to go ahead and go for the Stealth Rocks, and I do have Taunt on this Crocodile. It's actually a Pokemon I was thinking about leading with for a little while, in case he decided to bring Smeargle, but I decided against it when I saw he didn't have Smeargle. So I'm going to go for the Taunt, and yeah, that's going to go ahead and stop that guy from defogging, which is great. I do have Stone Edge. I was kind of worried he'd switch out, but he doesn't, so I'm able to nail this Mandibuzz down to half, so it's probably specially bulk invested, because that actually did a lot considering how bulky Mandibuzz usually is, and yeah, that's fine, because now this is a solid 2-hit KO. I decided to try to go for it, seeing if he's willing to sank the Mandibuzz, but I guess he is not. He's going to go out into his Ditto again, which is fine. The worst thing he can do to me really is Earthquake. I do go for another Stone Edge. Like I said, I was trying to finish off the Mandy, but unfortunately, yeah, this thing's going to come in, do the Intimidate on me, but I end up critting with the Stone Edge. So there we go. Maybe a little bit of luck in my favor. The crit obviously is negating my attack drop there, so it actually does decent damage to the Ditto, which is kind of nice. I do want to wither the Ditto down. So I'm going to go to my Celesteela. I was kind of hoping he'd lock himself in an Earthquake to try to kill my Crocodile. Instead, he just goes for the Stealth Rocks of his own, which is kind of okay for me. I mean, yeah, I do have Charizard still, and that's going to be 50%, but I feel like I'm in a pretty good position. Now, he goes in a Skeptile, or Sceptile, not Skeptile. It's pronounced Sceptile. The C is silent, as somebody reminded me recently. And I'm just going to go for that Flash Cannon. And, yeah, I was trying to hit the Crocodile, obviously, and I do have Hidden Power Ice for this. So, yeah, he's going to go ahead and Mega Evolve into Mega Sceptile, and just go for the Leech Seed on me, which is kind of fine. I guess he was maybe thinking I was a bulkier Step. Well, I actually am a bulky Step, but I am special. So I'm just going to go for a Hidden Power Ice. But just take this thing out, and I did EV myself to have more defense than anything else, which will help me obviously take a hit from this Terrakion. This thing's obviously, I think, probably Adamant Scarf, if I had to guess, because how much that first Stone Edge did. But now that I have a defense boost, he shouldn't be able to kill me with a close combat or a Stone Edge. We're going to test that theory out right now, and more importantly, because I don't have special attack boosts this week, that means he can't steal my sweep with a Ditto. So like I said, preparing hard for that anti-Ditto, because my team didn't get wrecked by Ditto in the right situation. So I just go for that. Flash Cannon does take it out. Anything at +2 defense now, although I only have 8 HP left. And in comes Ditto. Good thing I don't have the special attack boost. I do have the defense boosts. And he is going to be able to kill me here. I decided just to go for the Flamethrower just in case. I mean, he's going to kill me no matter what he goes to. But I need to see what he's going to lock himself into. And Celesteela is going to die if it tries to switch back in. So I'm just going to let him have it. So now he's a +3 defense. And that is fine. I go into my Araquanid, and I did see so this is going to be whatever his Ditto's hidden power is. I'm kind of thinking it's either going to be Electric or Rock, probably to have a better matchup against Charizard. Why? So, yeah, as you can see, it is Rock. I do have the Charchi Berry, so that is hidden power Rock, but it does absolutely nothing to me because of my bulk investment. I go for a Liquidation. I know that he's at +3 defense, but it still should be a 3-hit KO, and he doesn't really want to risk it, so he's going to go ahead and switch out into his Mandibuzz again, which is basically the game clincher. So, yeah, we came in here, he's going to die, and now his only Pokemon left is Ditto, and he has to transform into my Araquanid, which means even if he does kill my Araquanid this turn, I should be able to just go into anything to revenge kill. But, yeah, so that was a great week. It's always great when a plan comes together. It's been a little while since I've won a little bit without Asik. But this is a huge win because we are now clinched for the playoffs. And it was looking pretty bleak there a couple weeks ago. We were having that, losing streak. Fat Jesus looked like he might, and, I had Jesus and Chabri both breathing down my neck. But now I am 7-4, and they can't catch me, son. Well, actually, no. Chabri could if I lose next week. He could get the 3 seed, but I should be now clinched for the playoffs at least. Whether it be if I win next week, I'll even have a shot to clinch the division. In fact, but if I win next week, I'll definitely have the 3 seed instead of the 4 seed, which actually is important because in the playoff draft, we get extra money to draft 2 extra playoff Pokemon, if you might recall, and the amount of money that you get for the playoff draft depends on your seed. So we definitely need to win next week in Zacatec to try to increase our standing in for the playoff draft and add a couple of really nice mons to my team. But it does feel good to clinch the playoffs. That's a huge weight off my shoulders because it would have been bad if we lost this match. But I'm ecstatic. This is I've played 4 draft leagues. I was kind of bracing myself, to eventually not make the playoffs, but 4 out of 4 playoff berths in all 3 NGDLs and the PGBL. And next week, if we win against Zacatec and Quilliams drops to Chabri, I could actually walk away with the division crown 2 years in a row. Now, that's a long shot. Quilliams is a good battler, and he did beat Chabri earlier, but Chabri's also a great battler, so come on, Chabri, go Chabri! Let me help me win the division. So anyway, today's question of the day, going down, continuing with Pokemon Sword and Shield questions, is actually something I thought I hit on already, but then I realized I didn't. What do you think about the new evil villainous squad people? That is the Team Yell. I'm not entirely sure what they're going for here. As you can see, they seem to be making lots of noise. They all have like something to make noise. Is that an orcade? What is that the girls are holding? They're like an Orcadian? Like, what is that? I have no idea what that is, but obviously the guys are shouting with their little horns. So, yeah, they're funny. I actually think they're pretty funny looking, which is good. I'm gonna miss Team Skull because Team Skull was brilliantly written, but if this team is also brilliantly written, they could be pretty interesting. And I do like their color scheme, although I don't know why they all. Well, I guess that's a normal thing. All the grunts look the same. Actually, one of the greatest things about Team Skull is a few of them alluded to that fact. So, yeah, leave a comment about that. And Dolphiones are going to the playoffs again. Obviously, we're going to need to draft a few tricks up our sleeve in order to make it. But looking at the playoffs, I mean, here's a weird stat about the Dolphiones. I beat most of those teams that are already like clinched for the playoffs. I've struggled against guys who like aren't in the playoffs. Which is just really bizarre. But I know Sharpedo 43 and Quilliams 23 are both clinched for the playoffs, so I beat them 3 out of 3 times. If Mr. Chabri makes it, then I lost to him twice. But if Scep makes it, I think Scep can actually still make it, possibly, depending on his what his tiebreaker with Fat Jesus is. I don't know. And Mr. Chabri, I don't know. He might still have a chance. I might have lied saying that he has no chance because he's sitting at 5-6. Jesus is at 5-6, and Chabri's at 6-5. So it depends if he has the tiebreaker with Jesus or not, I think. Yeah. So I actually don't want to see Jesus or Chabri in the playoffs. I feel pretty comfortable, and because we're gonna probably be a wild card, that means we either play Quilliams or Sharpedo 43 first, which we've beaten in this season. So things are looking up. Although the playoff draft does change everything, and I'm super excited to be here. In the playoffs again, and yeah, it was a scary time. After dropping to Fat Jesus, man, I was so jaded. I was thinking we were just gonna drop out, but not drop out, but you know what I mean. Just flame out, lose horribly, but getting this win helps things. So thanks for watching, and yeah, go Dolphiones and all that.